another episode of Nature versus Nurture. That is the question. This is your lady with a passion for fashion and childcare. So today we are talking about being a nanny. Boy, is it hard work. But how do you become a nanny, and is it something that you really want to do? You have to know that you are going to be working solely with children, being responsible for them, and sometimes you will have the parent working at home and need you to take care of the child who is going to be very young. And sometimes they'll be in the office, or most of the times they'll be in the office and you'll be home alone. So you need to know if this is the job for you. So how do you apply? There are several websites that you can go through. You can go through Craigslist, which is a little bit iffy, but it can be a place for you to find or post that you're looking for a nannying job. Know what hours you want. Do you want part-time? Are you in school? Do you want full-time? Do you want to make this a career? Are you ready to take that education you have learned and move forward to becoming a nanny? So there's other websites such as care.com, sittercity.com, and many others, which I will leave a link to down below, that are for nannies and caregivers, as well as parents looking for prospective nannies. So what do you do once you have signed into these sites? Well, you start looking for a job. You search for which area you're willing to work in, which radius. Are you willing to travel just only a mile down the street or up to 5 or 6 miles? If you do a little bit more, like 5, 6, 7 miles, you'll be able to get a bigger range of families who are maybe willing to pay just a bit more than some of the ones that might be near you. You'll be able to have a broader range of families to choose from. And always read the description of each family before you apply. So when reading the description for the prospective family you might work for, always be truthful to yourself as to whether you are qualified to do what they are asking you to do, and are you willing. So some people might say, look, we want a nanny who takes care of our newborn throughout the day, feeds her, changes her, but we also want somebody to do some light housework. Are you willing to do the light housework? Are they paying as much as you think they should for the light housework in lieu of also taking care of their child? Some might even ask, can you cook? Be truthful. Don't ever lie, because they are going to eventually taste the food you make. If you know that you're not very good at cooking, then just don't apply for that job. You may not be able to apply and say, look, I can't cook, I'll do everything else. Because when a family sets up a profile, they are looking for specific things that they may not be able to compromise on. Families might be asking for several things. They might be asking for light housework. They might be asking for you to help them run errands. And you may never know what they're asking you for. It's always a must that before you apply for these jobs, you always get CPR certified. Look at your local Blue Cross Blue Shield and see if they are giving you CPR classes somewhere. You can call your insurance and say, hey, where are these classes being taken? If you don't have that insurance, you can also do the Red Cross, and it's really easy. It's simple. It's a small fee. You will have to take a 2 to 3 hour course, and it's very important, especially when you're taking care of young children. Now, once you have that CPR, that will give you an advantage to these parents. You can say, look, I'm already qualified in CPR. Also, education. Always talk about education when applying. Are you already a college graduate, or are you studying child psychology, child development? Those things can give you an edge. But always remember to look at the hours they are looking for in correspondence to if you already are in school. So money. It's better to have a college degree, like I said, to use as leverage to ask to be paid more, in my opinion. But certain families can only afford so much, so they have an offer already written in the job description and may not be able to pay much more than that. So always take that into consideration, and always email them and say, look, I applied for the job. I do have a college education in child development or child psychology. Would you be willing to pay a little bit more because of my education? That may or may not work, so always be prepared for a no. So once it's time for the interview, always have a phone chat first and talk to the family and make a little bit of a personable link with them. Talk to them about your background, where you're from, why do you like working with children, and how excited you are to start the interview process and hopefully one day start working for them. So once it's interview time, what do you do? What do you wear? How do you act? So interview can take place at any time. It could be the same day as you applied for the job. It could be the next day, so just be prepared with that. And it could also be in their house, in their living room, in the common room of their building, if they live in a condo or apartment, or at a coffee shop. But in any case, no matter where the interview takes place, always be sure to be dressed professionally. So in order to be dressed professionally, you can wear just a blouse and a pant, just Keep it very simple, neutral colors, no bold patterns, and keep it something business casual. You don't have to wear a blazer or a tie or a dress pant if you don't want to, but I would keep in touch with, just keeping a clean, well-groomed look. If you have long hair, make sure you comb it properly. Make sure you have a little bit of light makeup on, not too much, not too little. Go more for a more natural look, because you will be working with children who will be your clients. So parents don't really have a big preference on the way the nanny looks in terms of her looks, but they do want her to look professional. Obviously, don't show up in jeans that are tattered. Jeans, I would say you can wear once you become a nanny, but in the meantime, just dress very conservatively is the best advice that I can give you. Like no jeans, no leggings, no t-shirts, no ripped shirts, nothing. But you do have to come dressed to impress, because you're building that rapport with the family that you might be working for. So also, once you find out the child's name and age, use that to your advantage and act personable with the family. For example, if the child's name is Timothy, say, "Oh, Timothy is so cute. I can't wait to start reading him books. I'm very good at reading books to children, and I really want to help him learn and grow. It would be my pleasure to help him read and learn," and then talk about the skills you have that you can take with you while working with Timothy. So once you have accepted the job, if they call back and say, "Here's the offer, this is what we are giving you," you should ask to meet once again in person to sign a contract. So that could be through email or phone. Obviously, they may most likely call you. Tell them a time that you're comfortable with for meeting in person to finalize this wonderful job acceptance. And once you get to their house, make sure they have a contract written up for you that you have agreed to have done prior through phone or email. And this will clarify your duties and everything that is expected of you directly. And always make sure that you are upfront and honest about each and every duty that they have listed and how comfortable you are doing it and whether they want to continue going forward. Obviously, if you are signing a contract and they do want to go forward with you, obviously that means that they have obviously if they have a newborn baby that requires more attention, you have to know what age group you are good with. How do you know you are ready to be a nanny? Maybe you've worked with a lot of children before, babysitting, or maybe you have helped raise a baby brother or sister or cousin. And those are things that to take into consideration. Why do I want to become a nanny? Why am I good at this? And always play that feelings of where that came from forward to the family. Oh, I helped take care of my brother when he was little. For me personally, my dad passed when I was 10 years old, and my brother was 8 years younger than me. So what happened was I was a primary caregiver for my brother. That doesn't mean my mom was not there, but my mom was, trying to keep the family afloat. She was doing various odd jobs. She was, cooking, cleaning, running errands. So my younger brother preferred to be with me of all the siblings just because I tend to be good with children, as well as I was lonely. I didn't have many friends when my dad passed. I helped change his diaper, and I took that experience I had and I applied it to the different daycares that I applied for. So I would go ahead and tell the daycares about my experience, and I would try not to use too much of my dad's passing as a sympathetic way, but I would just say, look, because that tough thing happened in my life, I persevered and took care of my brother. And then I eventually went on to high school and volunteered at a preschool, and I was passionate about it enough that the parents were asking me, would you like to babysit? Would you consider doing child development in college? Are you a student? And I would say, no, I'm a high school student next door. I volunteer a couple hours a week. And that was the reason that I became a child caregiver, is because I thought that a lot of parents asking me to babysit was a good thing. It showed that they were taking interest in how well I was caring for their children. This was a parent co-op, by the way, so they saw me one-on-one with children. And then also at the same time, it was because I was very much taking care of my brother and cousins, babysitting. I would gather my cousins together at parties and read to them, and it was a passion of mine. And I always thought I would do something with children, whether it be work in a library or elementary classroom, but I found my niche was age 4 and under. And it'll take time for you to develop which age you are good with. You can work part-time with certain families and see how good you are with certain age groups. And you may be scared that you're not good enough for a certain age group, but then you develop a skill because you keep practicing it every day with that newborn or that 2-year-old, learning how to do certain things. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please comment, and also be sure to like my video if you found anything helpful. And if you didn't like anything helpful, let me know how I can improve and what topics you'd like me to cover next. Next video, I will be talking about once you have accepted the job, How can you be the best nanny for yourself as well as mostly for the family and that child involved? Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful and blessed day. Bye-bye.